UK state pension age rises to 70. What this means for you. Imagine waking up to the news that you might have to work until you're 70 years old before you can claim your state pension. For millions of people across the UK, that headline alone is enough to make the heart sink. After years of planning for retirement, after decades of paying taxes and national insurance, the idea that the finish line might suddenly be pushed back feels like a punch in the gut. Yet this is exactly what's now being discussed in government and policy circles, a proposal to raise the UK state pension age to 70. It's not confirmed yet, but it's being taken seriously enough that anyone thinking about their future retirement needs to pay attention. So in this video, we're going to unpack what's really going on, why this change is even being considered, and most importantly, what it could mean for you. Whether you're in your 20s just starting out, in your 50s planning your final decade of work, or already approaching retirement age and wondering if your plans are about to be torn up. The first thing to understand is that this isn't coming out of nowhere. The UK's state pension age has been creeping upward for years. Not that long ago, people could claim the state pension at 60 for women and 65 for men. Then, reforms equalized those ages, and now the official pension age is 66 for everyone. By 2028, it's set to rise to 67, and after that, there's already a plan to push it to 68 by the mid-2040s. But now, new analysis and leaked reports suggest that ministers and Treasury officials are quietly considering going even further, potentially raising it to 70, and perhaps doing so sooner than anyone expected. And that's the part that's catching everyone off guard. Why would they do this? The main reason comes down to demographics, economics, and mathematics. The truth is, people in the UK, like in most developed countries, are living much longer than previous generations. Back in the 1970s, the average person who reached retirement age might live another 12 or 15 years. Today, many people live 25 years or more beyond retirement. That's an incredible success story of modern medicine, better nutrition, and safer working conditions. But it also creates a financial challenge. The state pension is funded by current workers through national insurance contributions, not a big pot of savings sitting somewhere. So as more people live longer and fewer young workers enter the workforce, the balance gets more and more strained. Right now, the state pension is one of the government's single biggest expenses, costing over £110 billion a year. And that number keeps rising. Every year, more people qualify, and because of the triple lock system, which guarantees that pensions rise by whichever is higher between inflation, wage growth, or 2.5%, the total bill keeps growing faster than expected. The Treasury knows that unless something changes, the system will become unsustainable. Raising the pension age is one of the few levers they can pull to contain costs without directly cutting benefits or increasing taxes, both of which are politically explosive options. But of course, while the numbers might make sense on a spreadsheet in Whitehall, they can feel devastating in the real world. Imagine someone who's worked in a physically demanding job, a builder, a nurse, a factory worker, a bus driver, who has spent 45 or 50 years on their feet, doing long shifts. The idea of adding another few years to that before qualifying for the state pension feels almost cruel. Many of these people's bodies are worn down long before 70, and they may not even live long enough to enjoy many years of retirement. That's one of the biggest criticisms of raising the pension age. It disproportionately hurts people in manual or lower income jobs who tend to have shorter life expectancies compared to professionals in less physically demanding roles. Another major issue is trust. Many people feel that the government keeps moving the goalposts. You plan your life around certain expectations. When you'll retire, when your mortgage will be paid off, how your savings will stretch. And then suddenly, those assumptions are flipped upside down. And while raising the age might sound like a long-term policy that affects future generations, these decisions often get implemented faster than people think. Remember when the increase to 66 happened? Many people born in the 1950s, especially women, found themselves caught off guard and unable to access their pensions when they expected. That led to years of controversy and campaigns like WASPI, the Women Against State Pension Inequality group, arguing that they had been unfairly treated and inadequately informed. So when people hear talk of 70, it's no wonder there's anxiety and anger brewing. Let's take a step back, though, and look at what raising the state pension age to 70 really means. It doesn't necessarily mean everyone must work until 70. It means that's when you'd start receiving the state pension payments. You can still retire earlier if you want, but you'd have to rely on your own savings, workplace pensions, or private pensions to cover the gap. And that's where personal planning becomes crucial. The reality is that the UK state pension, even at its full rate of about £221 a week, isn't enough on its own for a comfortable retirement for most people. It's meant to be a foundation, not the whole house. If you want to retire before 70, or even at 65, you'll need to build that financial cushion yourself. That's why it's more important than ever to understand your pension forecast. You can check it easily on the official gov.uk website. It shows how much state pension you're on track to receive, when you'll get it, and how many more qualifying years of national insurance you need. Knowing this number gives you a baseline to work with. From there, the next step is looking at your private or workplace pension. Thanks to auto-enrollment, most workers now have at least some pension savings through their employer, but many people are still not contributing enough. The earlier you start putting money in, and the more consistently you do it, the more you benefit from compound growth. Even an extra £50 or £100 a month can add tens of thousands to your pot over the decades. But let's be honest, saving isn't easy right now. With the cost of living crisis, rising energy bills, and high rents or mortgages, many people feel they can barely make ends meet, let alone save for retirement decades away. That's part of the frustration. It feels like younger generations are being asked to carry more of the burden while getting fewer guarantees in return. For baby boomers and even some Gen X workers, the pension age increases might only add a few years. But for millennials and Gen Z, the possibility of a 70-year-old retirement age makes the dream of early retirement seem almost impossible unless they take matters into their own hands. There's also a political side to all this. Any government that officially confirms a rise to 70 risks a major backlash. It's deeply unpopular with voters, especially older ones who are the most likely to turn out in elections. That's why this discussion often happens quietly, behind the scenes, or is framed as a review rather than an announcement. But the writing is on the wall. The government's own independent review, led by experts, has already suggested that the pension age might need to increase faster than planned to reflect rising life expectancy and maintain the long-term balance of the system. Whether it happens under this government or the next, change seems inevitable. Of course, there are alternative solutions that economists and campaigners have proposed. One idea is to reform how the pension is funded, perhaps through a sovereign wealth fund or by raising national insurance for higher earners. Another idea is to make the system more flexible, allowing people to claim a reduced pension earlier if they've worked for a certain number of years, or if their job is physically demanding. Some countries, like France and Italy, already use similar systems that recognize not everyone's working life or health condition is the same. That kind of approach could make things fairer, but it also complicates administration and increases costs, which brings us back to the same financial dilemma. So where does this leave you? Well, the best response isn't panic, but preparation. The earlier you understand how this potential change might affect you, the more control you have over your financial future. Start by reviewing all your pension pots, even old ones from past jobs. Combine them if necessary to keep track of your total savings. Make sure you're taking advantage of any employer match programs. That's essentially free money. Consider setting up an ISA or a separate investment account for additional flexibility. And perhaps most importantly, think realistically about when and how you want to retire. Retirement doesn't have to mean stopping work entirely. For many people, it might mean transitioning to part-time work, freelancing, or a passion project that brings in some income while giving more freedom. The key is to design your financial life around your goals, not around government policy that could change again in 10 or 20 years. This issue also raises deeper questions about society. What kind of future do we want for older generations? Should retirement be a reward after decades of contribution, or just another economic calculation? Many people argue that increasing the pension age without addressing workplace age discrimination, retraining opportunities, or healthcare for older workers is irresponsible. If people are expected to work longer, then employers and policymakers must also ensure they can do so with dignity, support, and fair pay. Otherwise, we'll see more people pushed out of the workforce before they even reach the new pension age, leaving them stuck in limbo, too young to claim, too old to find stable work. So, will the pension age definitely rise to 70? As of now, nothing is official. It's still under review. But all signs suggest that the pressure to make this change will keep growing in the next decade. Whether it happens in 2040, 2035, or even earlier will depend on political courage and public reaction. What's clear is that relying solely on the state pension is becoming riskier every year. The most financially secure retirees in the future will be those who take proactive steps now, saving consistently, diversifying their income sources, and staying informed. If you've made it this far in the video, it shows you care about your future. And that's the first step. I'd love to hear what you think about all this. Do you believe raising the pension age to 70 is fair? Or do you think it's punishing hardworking people who've already given enough? Drop your thoughts down in the comments below. I read every single one. And if you found this breakdown helpful or eye-opening, give this video a thumbs up to help it reach more people. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications, because in my next video, I'll be diving into exactly how to build your own pension strategy, even if you're starting late, and how to calculate what you'll actually need to retire comfortably. Thanks for watching, take care of yourself, and start planning today, because the earlier you prepare, the freer your future will be.